What's going on, guys, and welcome to Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol Beginner's Guide. Good God, that's a mouthful. Marvel Rivals' new temporary auto battler game mode in which your favorite heroes role play as chess pieces in strategy, chaos, merge together for a damn good time. Think TFT or Dota Underlords, but with more Jeff, way more of this, and no instructions. And you might be asking yourself, Cozy, I play a hero shooter. What the hell is this chess? That's not what I signed up for. Hey, great question. Me and you in the same spot for about 10 hours. And the neat part is, this is the fun part, there's no tutorials and it kind of goes fast. They expect you to just pick up and start going right away. And I don't want you guys suffering the same fate as I did. And so today we've got a brand new beginner's guide breaking everything down and helping you just jump in and have a good time and learn the basics. Let's go. Now let's kick things off with building your team by assembling your heroes. When you first start a match, you'll be drafting 6 different heroes to your squad. You'll be given a selection of 6 different vanguards, duelists, and strategists to choose from, which is roughly about half the hero pool, which is by design and intentional. It's going to prevent players from always crafting perfect team-ups right out the gate or ideal comps each round, especially as metas start to develop. Now, if your favorite hero is missing, no need to worry. You'll be able to use credits, which is the in-game currency, to tune up and round out the rest of your roster, but more on that in just a moment. Now, one thing that's nice about playing a lot of Rivals is everything's going to be 1-for-1. So the team-ups, all the abilities, they're going to carry over to the game mode, and your heroes are going to be using them accordingly. So if you put a, Namor with Hulk, he's going to get the Gamma Squid, and so on and so forth. Now, one thing I want to make known right away, guys, is that the team compositions here are nothing like Rivals. Yes, you can have 2 strategists, duelists, and vanguards, and it's a good team and they have their advantages, but there's stuff here that would never work in the main game, like a team of all strategists can dominate with the right upgrades. So experiment, go crazy, figure out what works for you, and have a good time with it. Now, to understand what heroes to pick outside of the ones that you enjoy, this is where we dip into some of the more confusing things with some of the mode's core mechanics. So let's go ahead and talk hero target logic. Each hero has a predetermined targeting behavior that automatically kicks in at the start of each round and throughout combat. Knowing who your units are likely to attack first can make or break your positioning, and it's obviously going to come into a core piece of a lot of the strategy and assembling your roster. Luckily, this is only split into 3 different groups, and it's pretty easy to understand. Now, the first group, which is only Wolverine, is going to prioritize the heroes with the highest max health, which is obviously how he's played in Rivals, and they've brought the same thing into this mode. He's going to be kind of the tank hunter, the one that you'll want to use to take down a bunch of vanguards. Now, the next set of heroes is going to prioritize the lowest max health on the battlefield. And these are pretty much more of your traditional dive comps within Rivals, like Venom, Captain America, Black Panther, Magic, Spider-Man, and Psylocke, and then for whatever reason you have Black Widow and Scarlet Witch in there as well. And then here's the easy part. If they don't fall into any of those 2 categories, i.e. the rest of the roster, and yes, I did put them all into a graphic, so everybody else will prioritize who is closest to them. Again, if you think of it as Wolverine dive comps outside of like maybe Iron Fist, everybody else is traditionally going to fall into here. Now, once your team is selected, you'll head into the core gameplay loop that consists of rounds that each have 3 phases. There's a draw phase, which is the upgrade phase, a deployment phase, which is where you're going to do your positioning, and then the battle phase. So we're going to break each of these down, but the upgrade phase is by far the hardest to understand, so we're going to start there. So each and every round is going to consist of 1 upgrade phase, in which you'll have the opportunity to purchase different modules to upgrade your heroes within battle. Now, you'll purchase these with the in-game currency of tokens that you will accrue throughout the match. Now, there's a number of different ways to earn tokens within the game mode, and so I made this graphic to make it easier to understand. You're going to get 15 tokens each and every round as a base. Now, by winning in a round, you'll be gaining 2 extra tokens, gaining an additional token if you get on a win streak up to a max of +5. But here's where things get a little weird. Sometimes you don't always want or even need to win, because you'll also be getting +1 token if you're going on a lose streak. We'll touch on this a bit later in strategy, but again, this goes up to a max of 5. Now, the last way you can gain tokens is through interest, which is essentially like a savings account. If you have 10 tokens going into the round, you'll be gaining 1 token the next round. If you have 20, 2, 30, and so on, maxing out at 50, you'll gain an additional 5 tokens, which is essentially a common upgrade, so you can see why this is pretty damn good. So again, you can use these tokens to purchase modules or to refresh them to get a whole new set of 4 to choose between. But in addition, you can also use them between rounds and phases to purchase new heroes to swap into your roster. A huge piece of success in this game mode is learning what to buy, but more importantly, when. So there's a vast amount of different upgrades that you can buy, ranging from stat increases to heroes firing rate and magazine capacity, to reducing damage taken by enemies, to the absolute chaos of the backup rebirth upgrade, which gives your heroes a free revive on their first KO. You get the picture. These things can get absolutely crazy. Now, the cool thing is you can always sell these for more tokens at a later phase, or you can lock them if you don't have the tokens to buy them in the current round to buy them the next one. Now, these modules are broken into 4 different groups or colors. You have Blue Protocol Fortress, which are going to be for the Vanguards, Red Protocol Onslaught, which are for Duelists, the Green Protocol Reboot, which are for the Strategists, and then finally the Purple Protocol Equilibrium, which is more for the 222 or all the roles. Now, guys, quickly, I want to say that the modules here are by far the most complex piece of the game. Like, go in, have some fun, play around. But obviously, if you're a 222, then purple is going to be the way to go because it's for unique roles. Whereas if you're a tank-heavy team, then you want to go with more blue upgrades. Go in for a couple games, have some fun, test it out before you get too focused on min-maxing here. But yeah, there's a lot of strategy that we'll save for a guide later on, so subscribe if you haven't already. Now, as you hit different thresholds under each protocol, you'll be gaining a protocol-specific bonus, which you can see here on screen what you'll be gaining each time you hit the threshold. And in addition, you'll also gain a better chance and the ability to unlock more rare and powerful upgrades. Now, there are 3 different rarities of upgrades. You're mainly going to see the common modules that are going to cost 5 tokens, but we also have epic modules that are 10 tokens, and finally legendary that are 15. Now, at base, you just have a 100% chance to get common upgrades. After getting 10 specific protocol modules, you'll unlock the following tier, which is going to give you the chance to get epics at a 4% rate. Get that number to 20 and you now have access to an 8% epic rate and a 1.5% legendary chance. And then finally, skipping 30 and going to 40, we've got an 86% common rate, a whopping 12% epic rate, and now a 2% legendary rate. Now, if you buy 10 of 2 different sets, it will increase your epic chance, but you won't get access to the legendary until you pass that 20 threshold for one specific protocol. Now, if all that wasn't enough to digest, you can also level up specific upgrades. So in this example, if I buy a damage enhancement, I can get it again at a 2-star, which will now be a 16% upgrade, and so on and so forth. And I have to say this, guys, for sure, like, the main strategy is try to get the legendaries because, you know, the commons are fine. The epics are pretty good. But man, the legendary, they just slap. There's some truly busted stuff here. And as you begin to stack these, you're going to notice right away when your team gets wiped off the floor. Why? Because the other team is going to have a bunch of these. So refreshing, rolling, and saving your economy is going to be important. And a key part of the strategy is to go for these guys. Now, the last bit of upgrades to talk about and the most powerful are our strengthen modules. Now, these will enhance hero abilities greatly by doing things like reducing cooldowns, giving Rocket multiple respawn beacons, making Venom huge, or Hela a machine gun. There's a lot of different ways to enhance the heroes here. Now, to unlock these, you'll be battling a little bit of PvM versus Galactus bots. Starting right away in round 1, you'll be able to unlock one of them. And then after you battle each and every player, so 5 additional rounds, you'll unlock one more on round 6. Now, starting on round 11, which is again 5 more, you'll be able to get 2 at a time. And this goes to 16, 21, and so on. Now, one thing with these strengthen modules is you can only get 2 per hero, and you do get 1 refresh. If you do change out a hero that has one, it's just going to randomly assign to somebody else. So test them out, see who's performing the best, which you can see after each match, the stats and who's the weak links, and that's going to be how you can get a basic understanding of getting your team better and better. All right, so that's the module phase. You're going to be purchasing different upgrades, trying to get the stat bonuses, trying to unlock rarer upgrades, changing out heroes, selling them to get more interest for the next round. And this is where a lot of the magic and strategy happens. Now, luckily, you can access this menu at any time, no matter what round or phase you're in. So if you weren't able to lock in your decision and it moves on to the positioning phase, you can always go back and purchase something and it will apply before the battle. Obviously, if you purchase something within the battle phase, that won't apply till the next round. Which takes us to the positioning phase. Now, this is where you're going to position your heroes and where they're going to start at the beginning of the match in this 4x6 grid. Now, there are a lot of different strategies here and different ways that you can do this, but obviously, you know, you can have the tanks up front and then maybe the duelists behind them, strategists behind the duelists to protect them the best, or do things like set up your dive heroes up front and maybe Rocket Raccoon all the way in a corner. Now, you're going to want to change this positioning up, and where and when you position these heroes is going to be vastly important for your chance for success. Now, during this phase as well, in the top right corner, you can see who you're about to battle, and you can even click on one of their names to see their specific positioning and what heroes and modules they've chosen. This will help you greatly with counter strategies, tactics, and positioning. Now, one thing to notice as well is when you click to spectate, you can see a little bit of what's going on with each player. You can get a peek of their economy and how many tokens they have right now in savings, and then you can also see via this red X or this green star what their win or loss streak is. And then, of course, how much health they have remaining. Or you can make things easier. And again, I didn't have access to console, but on PC, you press tab and you can get a quick view of everybody's hero pool and modules. Now, in addition, you have another option on this menu to see exactly the breakdown of the last match, to see the stats of your vanguards, your strategists, and your DPS, to see maybe who's slacking and worth cutting. And that takes us to our last phase, guys, the battle phase. Now, remember, there are 6 players, and in the battle phase, you'll be going up against each and every one of them. If you win successfully, not only do you get those bonus tokens, but in addition, you also damage the opponent's Ultron drone, which is ultimately how you win or lose in this game mode. Now, you're able to move around Ultron's drone freely, and you do have 2 abilities, one to heal and one to do a burst of damage. And you can also shoot the heroes yourself, albeit all of these are very minimal, and especially shooting doesn't make a great difference, but I did find it helpful to shoot different equipment like Moon Knight's Ankh. However, the heal and the damage can come in clutch plenty of times, and there's a lot of strategies surrounding that. Now, in the battle phase, there's so much to cover here. That's going to be for probably the next video if you guys want more of these. But each hero is going to have kind of a way they commonly react within battle. For instance, Hawkeye's going to blow through a lot of his abilities first before going to his normal fire. Loki likes to put his lanterns down right away, which can be used great for strategies of protecting a powerful duelist with those to get the match started. And at this point, this is where all the hero targeting preferences come in that we discussed earlier. Now, over the course of the battle, especially more in the later rounds, your heroes can build up their ultimate charge and use these within the battle. Once the battle phase is over, you go back to the upgrade phase, then positioning, and you're on to the next one until eventually you get more of those strengthened modules until everybody loses health and there's one victorious. So again, guys, to leave you with a couple of tips, some things that I like to do is, first of all, you don't want to win and loss trade. You either want to win streak or you want to lose a lot to get a streak. Try to ensure that you're saving tokens with your interest. So if you're at 34, don't go below 30 so that you can get that 3 interest going into the next round. And overall, figure out a game plan for your comp. If you have a lot of strategists, go hard on the greens and try to get stuff to overheal. Or if you got a lot of vanguards, get the damage reduction flowing. Whether you spend a lot early and go crazy on the early game, or you save 50 tokens and never go below that for max interest, how you play is up to you, and I encourage you to experiment and overall just have a good time. But for those that are competitive, stay tuned. I've got more coming. Now, without dipping into a ton of strategy, one of the most important things to know is resource management, right? Health that you have available versus the tokens that you have. Because when you have a lot of tokens, it's easier to get way more of those, and you might be using your tokens a lot early to win games, but then you don't have anything for the late games and you're going to end up getting completely stumped. Or in turn, if you lose a lot at first, you're gonna have to hope you just keep winning with all the excess tokens. So it's a nice balancing act of win streaks, loss streaks, and just the economy of this game mode, and that's where a lot of these other videos that I would make will dive into. So there you guys go. A lot thrown at you. In short, you've got your rounds, you have your phases. Buy some upgrades, position them the right way, and then go in and try to battle it out. Have a good time doing it. And again, this is a new temporary game mode, but I do think that they're going to make it permanent, or at least if the interest is there, they're going to put a lot of resources towards it, which I'm excited. It's a new way to play and a way to relax than the sweat out there of competitive rivals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bit of a different video. I typically don't cover the new game modes, but I wanted to talk about the basics here because it's something very different that we haven't seen. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, if you enjoyed this content or if you want more of it, let me know. And until the next one, happy rivaling.